In this presentation, we will discuss about shigellosis, which is also known as bacillary dysentery. So how do you get shigellosis? So the most common way is by consuming contaminated food and water. So how does food get contaminated? The most common way is, let's say your food was prepared by somebody who has shigellosis and they did not wash their hands after going to the bathroom and they prepared the food for you, you can get the infection. The second way food can get contaminated is by fecal to oral route. So right here you can see it tells you getting Shigella bacteria on your hands then touching your food or mouth. So if you touched any object or any surface that is contaminated like toys or bathroom fixtures or changing tables, diaper pails, if you touched any of these which are contaminated and then you touch your mouth or your food, then you can get the Shigella infection. And how does water get contaminated? So if the feces gets into the water, then the water can get contaminated. Because Shigella germs, they are found in the feces of sick people when they have diarrhea. And so if you're traveling and you drink water from ponds or lakes, and if it is contaminated with the feces that have the Shigella germs in them, then you will get the infection. The other way you can get infection is during sexual intercourse. If the person comes in contact with the stool while having sex with a person who is sick. So contact with germs from poop during sexual contact. So even after a person recovers from diarrhea, the Shigella bacteria can remain in their poop for several weeks. So even though the person gets better and does not have symptoms, they can still transmit the infection to others. So what are the symptoms? So right here you can see the symptoms are diarrhea, abdominal cramping, fever. So what are the prevention methods? So the first most important method is to wash your hands with soap and water after you go to the bathroom, before you eat food, and before you prepare meal for somebody. And especially if you have shigellosis, you should not prepare food for others. And as I just mentioned, if you are sick and you have shigellosis, it's better you do not prepare food for others when you are sick. And the second is drink safe water. If you're traveling internationally, stick to safe eating and drinking habits and avoid swimming in ponds and lakes where you don't know if the water is safe or not. So you always want to avoid swallowing any water from swimming pools that are untreated or in any natural bodies of waters like ponds and lakes. And the third is avoid sex for several weeks if your partner had the diarrhea and has just recovered from the diarrhea. So you want to wait till your partner's diarrhea has completely resolved and then wait for a few more weeks because, as we just mentioned, even though a person might completely recover, the Shigella bacteria can stay in their stool for several weeks and they can transmit it to others. Now, treatment. Usually, shigellosis is a self-limiting disease and a person gets better in 5 to 7 days. And most of the times, what's recommended is fluids and rest. Only in very severe cases, antibiotics are prescribed. So these are the treatment measures for Shigella infection. And I'm going to stop here